Hey guys, thanks for checking out my YouTube update video slash round 4 of Motorsports Club of Ottawa's Winter Rallycross Series post-race analysis. We're going to check out some of my in-car footage. So without further ado, we'll start off with the channel update because it's been 5 years since I've made an upload onto this, and not that I did any real post-production editing or uploads back in the day, but that's something as I've gotten older I've dreamt more about doing and getting involved with. And a lot's happened in those 5 years. I met a girl, moved 3 hours away from home to be closer with her, to her family. We've since gone our separate ways, but I've stayed out here where I am now, and it's a great lifestyle. The dust has sort of settled. And through all the time that's passed, something that hasn't changed with the people that have come and gone and the places and the jobs and the life experiences, one thing that hasn't left me is my passion to be an outdoorsman and do my fishing, and just my love for the Subaru community and getting involved with rallying and the adventures that entail with everything rallycross, navigational rallying, as my uploads from years ago show. So it's been a while. I have a new GoPro. I'm working on acquiring more gear to do better editing. Right now everything's going to be filmed with the GoPro and this Samsung S10e and edited on here too, so you're going to have to bear with me on how crude my edits are. But I'm really, like I said, I'm interested in reigniting my passion for getting outdoors and getting more involved with motorsports, because I have dabbled with some racing over the few years. I haven't really captured much footage and made many memories of it, and that's something, looking back, I kind of regret. So going forward, I want to capture more memories while I'm out there doing these things, sharing them more, and then through that, hopefully making new friends and just learning and growing as a man and having fun, all about having fun, because it's been rough the last little while with some instability and unsure of where I'm going to end up. But, you know, in this life, you have to bloom where you've been planted sometimes, and I'm trying to see the forest through the trees and be grateful for everything I have. I mean, I live on the bay here, and my lifestyle is pretty good. So I want to exploit that. I want to share that. And I want to just bring you along on my adventures. So over the last few weeks and this winter, and even over the last few years, there's been several rally clubs and car clubs in Ontario here where I am who've started these Rallycross series. And it was out of necessity breeds creation. The people involved in rallying in Canada realized that the numbers in our events were dwindling, and it's a sport that's particularly cost prohibitive. So some people in KWRC, the Kitchener-Waterloo Rally Club community, when I sort of stopped uploading videos years ago, I got more involved with the organization, and we sort of had this critical mass of passionate people, and we realized we wanted to bridge this gap between people that were interested in rally but didn't know where to start or didn't have much experience. So we're like, let's get into some sort of rallycross competition, and we're starting with the goal of starting like a cheaper racing venue for people to get their feet wet in rallying in this kind of denomination of racing. And what's happened over these 3 or 4 years is the Kitchener-Waterloo Rally Club, Peterborough Motorsports Club, Maple Leaf Rally Club, Motorsports Club of Ottawa, and I think there's a few others, have all started or continued a Rallycross series. So it's a growing thing, and what's really been cool, what we were hoping was going to happen through this, was teams would eventually grow on to building a stage rally car, and then we would be fueling the next gen for performance rally in the country, and sustaining the sport ultimately, right? Like, when you care about something, you're going to work towards the preservation of that thing so that it can live on and others can enjoy the fruits of your labor. So there's the bay. We're going to go to the Subaru garage since we're talking cars. So there's lots of events now. Years have passed. I still have my cars. So I'm deciding, for 2020, I'd like to shift more focus back to pursuing my racing passions. And those of you that have known me, I've kicked around this idea of this channel for years now, with my outdoors stuff, my fishing and rally stuff. So with that said, I'm going to work towards maybe being more active, getting out there more. I got to build up my equipment more so I can have quality edits and contribute better quality content, let's face it. But all that said, we're in my shack now, my Subaru garage, and my race car's here. And I'll tell you a little bit about it and Rallycross, I guess. So in Ontario, we have 3 classes. It's 2-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, non-turbo or naturally aspirated, and all-wheel drive forced induction. And my car is a 95 Subaru Impreza all-wheel drive L from the States. That's why it's actually not rotted completely away. It's got the 1.8 liter. It's OBD1 because 95, 96 was the transition year for that. The car is largely stock. Like, I've tuned it up. I bought it for $500 out of a barn in Paris, Ontario. I think there's still pigeon crap on the roofs that I just cannot get off. It has 230,000 something miles. In terms of mods that I've done, it has 1-inch lift spacers on the top hats, stock springs, KYB GR2 struts, which I'm going to be switching out soon because everything's blown. Differential rear diff skid plate, front skid plate that I made, cone filter, catback exhaust. Like, other than that, it's a stock machine. And our all-wheel drive non-turbo class is probably, in these different clubs and series, is usually one of the more competitive classes, just I think by sheer volume of these units that were sold. Like, not everybody, they didn't sell millions and millions of WRXs, but there was millions of silver all-wheel drive non-turbo Impreza wagons sold, or for instance. So there's the 3 classes. I'm in the all-wheel drive non-turbo. So let's talk about MCO and the Winter Rallycross. There's a couple really passionate, awesome dudes up there that have taken on a Rallycross and organizing it. And they found a great spot just outside of Ottawa. It's in Stittsville, Capital City Speedway. And a couple of the guys up there have made this great track that kind of meanders through the woods and then into their parking paddock. And it's super fun. It's super technical. You're going to see in the footage, which we're going to get to shortly. It's been almost a 10-minute spiel here, which is, what a setup, man. Brutal. So I had made it to round 3 2 weeks prior to this. This event was on the 22nd of February. Round 3, it was minus 20 out. It had snowed 25 centimeters the day before. It was super powdery. The conditions were really interesting to drive in because it was like spongy. The snow was so powdery, it would just kind of suck you in, and it really bogged my car down, which is not the most torquey thing, the little 1.8 sewing machine. So the conditions were tough. We only got 3 runs in that day because we were only able to get one sweep vehicle. The sweep vehicles are a bigger truck that goes and pulls everybody out of the banks who's been stuck. It's pretty necessary. Round 4, we had a much milder day. I think it was like above freezing and sunny all day. So the grip, it was a little more tacky, but there was places where there's a lot of wheel spin in the corners and the sun was exposed and it just glazed right over on ice. So in my first 2 runs, which I'm going to show you, you'll see where I spin. I lose a lot of time, and we're going to check that out, and I'll talk a little bit more about it after that. So let's check that out right now. Yep. So I lost a lot of time with that understeer, locking up the brakes. That's your instinct, is to just lock the brakes up when you're in one of those understeer situations. And one of the big lessons that I learned, and it's worth sharing with these, and you learn it with more seat time doing these things, is especially in the winter events, slower is faster. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you're driving like Ken Block and just hooning, and you're going to actually be slower. And if you're overcooking turns, understeering, and rather than just slowing down, setting the car up better for your turn, you actually end up being so much quicker if you just back down to about 95% hoon or send. So it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing you get to learn. Slower is faster. So for my third and fourth, and then eventually fifth run, you'll see me get a lot quicker and cleaner with my technique. And I really had to sit myself down after the first two runs and be like, okay, Kirk, like, slower is faster. We can't overdrive these turns and spin, because that's literally the difference of 2 seconds is what kept me out of the top 5 in my class and the top 10 overall out of 31. So with that said, I'm going to link you also, because it's easier for me to edit, my fifth run in, which ended up being my DNF on the day. The way this event is structured, we drop your worst run. So if you happen to DNF, that's like automatically my worst run. So that's going to have to be that. So we'll show you around 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it after. So how did that look? Did that look fun or what? Yeah, my hand cooked, my winter eye pikes, I had them filled up a little bit higher than usual. I had them at about 36 psi, just because with all the ruts that were developing throughout the day, I was kind of worried not having tubes in the tires about a debead, because like gripping those ruts, it was unbelievable. I thought I was running a serious risk of popping a tire out there, which never ended up happening. So I don't know, it was great. You know, like I wish I could make it out. There's 2 more races actually this month in March before the winter series wraps up. And then of course, actually even in April, Peterborough Motorsports Club, their Rallycross series starts. Kitchener-Waterloo Rally Club races at Humberstone Speedway. They've already had a doubleheader winter weekend, and usually with the course conditions there, we have to kind of wait till later in spring because of the damp and muddy conditions. It's literally undrivable. But for 2020, for channel update, for everything I have going on, I have this bigger motor here, this EJ 25D that I plan on putting in the white car. And I'd love to get to more races this year, because again, something that I've regretted over the past little while with everything going on is not capturing the moments I did have out there, really enjoying myself. And so I'm going to work on that. I'm going to try and get better recording gear so I can, you know, have a better edits and share better things for you with you guys. And we're going to see what happens. I mean, I'm excited for what's next. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I'm going to try and get some content going, whether it's fishing or wrenching or racing. And I'm excited to see where it goes, who I meet, who I inspire, because there's no shortage of inspiration that I get from the people involved with this and friends that are doing it and crushing. So I want to live differently. I want to pursue it. I want to grow the channel and just see what happens and enjoy myself and bring you along with me on these adventures. So it should be a good year, and it should be a good time going forward. So let's see what happens. So I'll put some helpful links in the description below. I don't think there's much more for me to say at this point. I've kind of been rambling on. I'm not gonna lie. I would tell you I'm gonna go edit the shit out of this video and upload it and share it, but I mean, I think I'm gonna have to go fishing. Maybe get more content. I don't know. Until next time, guys, thanks for checking my upload up.